5-Minute Pearls for Clinical Practice. This week's Pearl is Creativity Part 3. Hello, this is Dr. Brian Morris, and this is 5-Minute Pearls for Clinical Practice, where you will learn the tools to provide exceptional care for your patients. This is the weekly podcast where you will be introduced to time-tested, evidence-based patient care strategies that aren't always taught in schools or training programs, but are nonetheless crucial for success in clinical practice. Over the last 2 weeks, we discussed some important principles that affect creativity in clinical practice. If you have not heard the last 2 weeks of this podcast, please go back and listen to those before you listen to this episode. But with this week, I would like to discuss what I consider to be the third element important to the creative process. And it actually starts with a story that I heard recently. A few months ago, I saw a performance by the British singer-songwriter Passenger. Passenger is Michael Rosenberg, who is a singer-songwriter from Britain. And he told a story that happened to him in 2013 while he was staying in Minnesota. Mr. Rosenberg was very honest about the fact that he has struggled with smoking for many years. In fact, since he was 12 years old, he has stopped smoking many times, but he unfortunately has not been able to quit the habit. Well, in 2013, he was touring through Minnesota, and he was staying at a hotel, and in the middle of the night, he was craving cigarettes. In fact, he said he was dreaming about cigarettes. It was 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning, and he just couldn't sleep. He was thinking nonstop about cigarettes. Well, he got out of bed, and he asked the hotel staff where he could find some cigarettes, and they said that the only option was to go to a gas station, which was about a mile away. So in the middle of the night, he walked a mile to get to this gas station, and as he was about to enter the store at the gas station, he noticed an older man sitting next to a motorcycle smoking a cigarette. The man must have been in his 70s with long white hair and a big smile on his face as he said, "This is the best cigarette I've ever had." Mr. Rosenberg struck up a conversation with this older man, and he learned that this gentleman had just found out that, very sadly, he had terminal lung cancer and end-stage emphysema, and probably only had a few months left to live. He lived in Los Angeles, and his doctor had just given him the news a few days before. So this gentleman was riding his motorcycle across the country from Los Angeles to New York to visit his family that lived in the New York City area so he could see them one last time. He wanted to see his children, and he wanted to see his grandchildren one more time to make peace with them and say goodbye. He wanted to reconcile with them and make things right before his time came. After hearing this story, Mr. Rosenberg chose not to buy the cigarettes, and he walked back to the hotel, and instead of smoking, he wrote a song called Riding to New York, which is a song about this man and his journey from Los Angeles to New York to visit his family one last time. It's probably the best song of Rosenberg's career, and I tell this story because it teaches us an amazing lesson in creativity, and that lesson is that we need to always be open to inspiration. We never know where inspiration will find us. There he was in a hotel in Minnesota lying in bed, and if he had just stayed in bed the entire night, he never would have met that man, and he never would have written that amazing song. However, he got out of bed, and he went to that gas station, not looking to meet this man to write this wonderful song. He went there looking for a cigarette. He went there for the wrong purpose, but he still was able to find that inspiration when it came calling. We always need to be open to moments like that. Creativity can come to us in the most unlikely of situations. It can come while we're sitting at our desk, or it can come while we're exercising, or it can come in the middle of the night at a gas station in rural Minnesota. Our mission as creators is to be open to receive that inspiration when it arrives. Michael Rosenberg did not expect to find inspiration that night, but it arrived on a motorcycle smoking a cigarette. He wrote that incredible song because he was open to receiving that inspiration. He noticed the man at the gas station. He struck up the conversation with him. He must have sensed that there was something there that he needed to learn. If he had just walked past that man, gone into the store to purchase his cigarettes, he never would have written that song. He never would have met that man and written that song. Many people have written about ways to find great ideas, But this story teaches us that great ideas find us, but we need to be open to receive them. We need to be ready to appreciate the moments in life that will teach us what we need to learn. We need to stay open to noticing the stories that are all around us all the time. How many people did you walk past today that had a great story to tell you? When you start thinking about that, it really makes you want to go out and meet people and talk to people more, and that's how we create great works of art. We meet people, we interact with people, we learn, and then creativity finds us. Be open to finding this sort of inspiration in your life. Inspiring ideas are all around us. We just need to notice them. So keep your eyes open, ears tuned into the world, and creative and inspiring ideas will find their way into your life. Let's keep the dialogue going. Let me know what you think of this week's Pearl for Clinical Practice. You can email me at drmorris@5minutemd.com. That's DRMORRIS at 5minutemd.com. You can post your comments and your experiences on the 5 Minute MD Facebook page. You can follow us on Twitter at Brian Morris MD. And you can visit us anytime on our website, 5minutemd.com. Let your friends and your colleagues know about the podcast and make sure that you are subscribed on iTunes. When you are subscribed on iTunes, you will receive new podcast pearls as soon as they are posted. And if you have a few minutes and you enjoy what we're doing here on this podcast, please head over to iTunes and leave us a review. Thank you so much for listening. I will see you at the next 5.